Hey. Hey. Ty. What you want to say to mommy? Okay.
Hey you, it's me twice if you nasty. So today is January 4th 2020. Happy New Year, my niggas. And today is the anniversary of like probably my most traumatic experience ever, so let's talk about that shit. In 2007, on the morning of January 4th, I was sleeping like real niggas do. We like to get our rest. I actually was not really good at sleeping. I've been an insomniac for like ever, but that's just that. So I was asleep, and at 4:04 I woke up and I heard my dad like yelling like, "Sony, no, Sony, please." So I wake up, I'm like, damn, my parents arguing, they about to get a divorce. Like, dang, that's crazy, or whatever. You know, I woke up and that was the worst of my fears, that my parents were fighting. So I got up, I ran down the hallway, and my mom, she would wake up at like 3:45, 4 o'clock, have a cigarette, have her coffee, iron her clothes, do her hair, so that she could leave the house by like 6. She had a process, honey. So yeah, it was like 4:04. I wake up, I walk down the hallway. My mom is like laid back on the bed. Her eyes, like she was sitting on the side of the bed, and like I guess she passed out and laid back, so her legs are hanging off the side of the bed, her body is laid back, and my dad is like freaking out like, "No, Sony, please, no, no, no." So she like was gasping for air, like trying to get some air into her lungs, but she was already sort of kind of out of it. So I started freaking out. I'm like, yo, we need to call 911. So I called, or my dad called, somebody fucking called. And it took them a little while to get there. So in between us calling and them getting there, we're both reasonably freaking out. So I'm like, Dad, calm down, trying to calm my dad down or whatever. And you know, I was just getting glimpses of my mom that stick with me till this day. Like I can have a flashback of this, and I used to have them uncontrollably, but if I do every now and again have a flashback, like I can still see her looking at me, but she wasn't looking at me because she was gone. So pretty much on the morning of January 4th 2007, I watched my mom die. I was 14 in the 9th grade. 3 months earlier, my grandmother had just died, my dad's mom, and I took that really hard. And around that time, my mom was smoking. Like, my mom smoked cigarettes my whole life. I hated that. Like, I was so scared I was gonna lose her due to that. So around that time, she had quit. And when everybody was around for my grandmother's funeral, she had started smoking cigarettes again. And I caught her. I couldn't really catch her, but I saw her smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, Mom, you said you quit. If you died because of cigarettes, I'm not coming to your funeral. And then, of course, 3 months later, you know, you don't expect that shit to happen, but 3 months later, I literally had to eat my words. I watched my mom die. Following that, the ambulance came. It took them a little bit to get there. They were in the room for like 15-20 minutes trying to get a breathing tube, like trying to get her intubated, trying to get a breathing tube down her throat, and that took a really long time. It's usually not something that takes that long, to my understanding. So I'm like, what the heck, not thinking of it in that moment. So they took her to the hospital, and you know, my dad's like, I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but we're just gonna pray and keep faith and all of that. So that morning my aunt came, and I'll never forget this. I really didn't want to cry this video, but I'm not gonna apologize if I do, because we need to cry. We need to get shit off our chest. We need to talk about things. We need to release in a healthy way. So if I do cry, usually if I do cry, it's more so because of gestures like the one I'm about to explain, and I think about it all the time, and I'll forever be grateful for my aunt. But my mom's sister came over that morning, my aunt Willie, and I could not eat. Of course, my anxiety was sky high, and she made me a grilled cheese on like wheat bread. I hated wheat bread, but I still couldn't eat. I took like a bite and I fell asleep, and she laid in my bed with me, just so I could get a little bit of sleep, and I got some. So that was the sweetest freaking thing, and I recently texted her to thank her for that. Over the next 2 days, it was pretty much like seeing if my mom would even be viable if we kept her alive. Ultimately the decision was to take her off of life support, because she already had so much brain damage that if we were to keep her alive, it would have been miserable. She wouldn't have been able to do anything for herself, not breathe for herself, not feed herself, and she would not have had a life. She pretty much would have been in like a coma. So ultimately my dad and the family decided to take her off life support. And at this time, I forgot about this, my family was in town. I think they came on like the 5th, the next day when my mom was in the hospital, to for a funeral. My dad's uncle or great uncle or somebody died, so they were in town for a funeral when all of this was going down. So you know, everybody was already upset, and it was just like, and then we just lost my grandmother a few months earlier, and it was just like a really hard time on everybody. It was just tense. So you know, on the morning of January 6th, it was really early. My aunt, my cousin, and I want to say my sister, I'm not sure, it's so fuzzy, but 3 people went to the hospital to be with my mom when they took her off of life support, and everybody else was pretty much at our house, just like sitting around, upset, of course. I think I remember when they first told me, yeah, on the 5th my dad came home, and it sucks that he had to be going through that, and he also had to break news like that to me. It sucks, but he did tell me on the 5th when everybody was there, he just put me aside and told me that we were gonna have to let my mom go, and why, and I understood, but of course that shit still hurt. So I just remember like crying and screaming and just being like no, and walking out the house. I think somebody chased me down and I came back home. But yeah, so that next morning, they took her off of life support. She had love surrounding her. They said she went very peacefully and beautifully, and that's just as she was in life. From then until my dad died 3 years ago, it was just me and my dad, you know, whatever. So people always ask me what happened to my mom, how she died and everything. They said that she had a goiter, which is a fatty mass that grows on the thyroid gland, and they can grow huge, but even the huge ones usually don't kill people. So to this day, I still say I don't know what happened. I think what I would say I think happened, because she was going through a lot of testing for a lot of things with her breathing. I think she had sarcoidosis, which is what Bernie Mac died from. It's what Tisha Campbell has. And it's basically polyps grow all over some part of the lungs or whatever. So I honestly think that it was that, but it really doesn't matter. It's a part of life. People die. It's nothing that I can do to change it. I handled it really bad as a teenager. Thank God I didn't start doing drugs or nothing crazy, or start drinking or nothing crazy, but I did not take care of myself at all. I handled depression the wrong way, but I ultimately made it out. I was fine. I still battle with it to this day. I've been dealing with anxiety since I was like 4, 5, 6 maybe, which has caused sleep issues for me. So I'm always fucking tired, but that definitely made it worse. In recent years I've been okay. I accept her energy when I get it. But yeah, this video and whatever footage I share in this video is just a tribute and a thank you to the kindest woman, and I don't say this because she's my mom. I don't say this because she passed away. I say this because I just remember conversations that we would have or that I would overhear. And I was very private as a kid. I hated to share anything. I hated to show emotion. But she was just, I say it's because of who she was. She was truly, genuinely the kindest, sweetest person I knew. And that just showed from the inside out. So I miss you. I love you. And it's been a long ass 13 years with a lot of different struggles. But I know you're okay. So I am. So family, friends, whoever watches this video, I hope you enjoy the clips that follow. And be okay. I love you all.
So there's pictures, that's me when I was a baby. That is cute. That's me. What do you see on it?
I see everything.
Oh, okay. The faces.
Yes.
I like to say Happy New Year's to everyone, my family, my children, well, my husband. Happy New Year, Michael. Have a good one. Let us have a good one. And to my children, Barry, Tahir, Yasmin, and Michelle, everybody have a nice new year and strive to achieve with everything that you do this year. And may everybody have, and Mom, hi Mom. She's in there. May she have good health this year. And keep looking good, Mom. Okay. Keep looking good. She's looking good. And everybody, good health, happiness, have a good year. No looking back, look forward. Just everybody. Everybody have good health, no trouble in people's families. That's, I know that's not possible, but may keep everybody be strong. Okay? Now, may I have a good year in what I want to do on top of everybody else having. Oh, you're talking to the... Yeah. Okay, what is this woman babbling about? And that's all I want to say. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Alright.
Alright.
Pause. Push that button.
Alright, I pushed it.
Okay.
Look at her nose. Look at that nose. It should record of my.
Where's that button, Barry?
Where?
The red one.
This is a beautiful setting, y'all.
I just want everybody to know why I did what I'm getting ready to do. Now, come on, portion. To the ladies and
bring out a little drop for you.
I just want to warn everybody why I'm getting ready to do what I'm going to do. Alright?
Share me, please. I love it. It's my baby.
This is RT.
There we go. This is RT. Gonna have
This is our...
beat the hooch up a little bit. Yo. What? I ain't even saying nothing. You make it down. I can't even beat me.
Yeah, but this is a regular family.
We are going to. Y'all get all perfect. Y'all be got no fun.
Hey, we can have fun.
The whole body like that. Something wrong with it. Mom, trust me. Look. Say Merry Christmas, everybody.
I wanna hug.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
What can you say?
Yes, I can see you in front of the umbrella.
Okay.
So you want to see Lena too? You want to move?
Yeah. Can you see me?
I think she wants. Okay, I can see you both. Okay.
Yasmin is my baby girl. Even though I got another baby girl, Yasmin will always be my baby girl.
Okay.
I love her. I wasn't expecting to have her because Tahir was only 3 months old when I had her, but once I had her, I loved her and I'm glad that I had her. And
Okay. She is number one, right?
She's a nice girl, but she can have an attitude.
A nice girl with attitude.
With an attitude. Everybody thinks she's a sweetie dee, but no, this girl is something else.
Oh.
But that's good. She has a lot, and let me around.
You take your time, you the mom.
Okay. She has potential. She's going to grow into a beautiful woman. You know, she has a lot to learn, but eventually she'll get it because she has all the tools to, you know, grow into a well-rounded person. I'm quite sure she'll have a nice life and do everything nice with her life.
You need to unwrap
Take care of her baby very well, and hope she have luck with the baby and her man and her life.
Hey.